At 13 minutes past 8, let's take a moment to explore the potential ramifications of this interview this morning as well, for both Harry and Meghan, and I suppose as well, as Dean was talking about there, the royal family as a whole.
Yeah, the royal biographer Anna Pasternak joins us from Henley-on-Thames, and the author and women's rights activist Dr. Shola Mimu joins me. Morning, both. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. And there's been so much. I know that you both watched this interview, by the way, in detail, and there's been so much reaction. And there's been no doubt. I think one thing we can probably agree on, that it will divide people. So, Shola, just from your point of view, there were so many things said. What do you think are the most significant?
I think that there's no doubt from this interview that the royal family failed Harry and Meghan. And what you're going to find will be that there will be some white people that will watch this interview, and rather than take away from it the root cause of what led Harry and Meghan to make their decision to step back, they're going to be blaming Harry and Meghan for the decisions they had no choice but to make. And the root cause of it is racism. The fact that the royal family failed to protect this couple from racist coverage, from death threats. The fact that the experiences Harry and Meghan had within the family led to Meghan having suicidal thoughts, being lonely, it means that somebody dropped the ball. And let's us also be clear that when we talk about this issue, particularly the issue of members of the royal family having conversations about the color of Archie's skin, that is racist. It is, for those who would like to see that as, oh, it's just family having a conversation. No, it's not. And that kind of thinking normalizes racism. So let us be very clear. The reason Harry and Meghan had no choice but to step away is because they got no protection from within the family, and they got no protection outside the family. I believe they were let down. And there are many questions to ask, and I think it's time for us to hold the monarchy to account. I mean, it's clear that Harry has a very good relationship with his mother, with his grandmother, the Queen. And as I've just recently said, let's applaud the Queen when she's done something right. But I think it does call to question what she did or did not do for her grandson, when all of the things he shared today was not new to either Prince Charles, Prince William, or the Queen. Why is it that no protection was given? Why is it that Archie was denied title, or that they were going to change the convention around giving him a title? Why were people having those kind of conversations about his skin tone? At the end of the day, we need to call that question.
Okay, Dr. Shola, I want to bring in Anna Pasternak as well, the royal biographer, on this. I mean, Anna, Dr. Shola says there it's very clear, but is it possible to be clear when we've only heard, at the moment, one side of the story, no response from the royal family, do you think?
Exactly. I think there are two sides to the story. I think it's very convenient to lob these incendiary comments and suggestions about the royal family. My opinion on the whole thing was I just couldn't see the point of it. Dr. Shola said that Meghan and Harry had no choice but to step back. That may well be the case, but they certainly had a choice as to whether to speak out or not. And everyone has been saying, oh, well, they look so happy now and they were so respectful of the Queen. I couldn't disagree more. Happy, content, peaceful people do not seek revenge on their family, on an institution. And to say they respect their grandmother, Harry's grandmother, the Queen, this whole interview was an exercise in disrespect of the monarchy. This is a woman who has dedicated 7 generations of her life to our country, to duty. Does she honestly need this whining and bleating of this spoilt pair at this stage in her life when her husband is ill? I think Dr. Shola's right. This is incredibly divisive, and I think there are those who will feel immense empathy and sympathy for Meghan, and I think there will be those who think this is absolutely unnecessary to speak out in this way. And all this stuff that's been made of Prince Charles not answering Harry's call. Well, I'm a parent. When your children are incensing, sometimes it's quite healthy not to answer their call. I mean, there are these details that are blown out of all perspective. And it was a very soft-serving, soapy interview in Meghan's favour. Nobody asked her about her relationship with her father. Nobody asked her the astonishing fact that she only had one member of her family at her wedding. This is a woman who seems to make a habit of falling out with people. But none of Meghan's real behaviour was questioned. It was an absolute exercise in torching the House of Windsor. And I came away with a very distasteful taste in my mouth.
Oh, we are, of course, waiting to see if there will be a response from the palace. I want to ask you, Dr. Shola, as well, because this will. We hear that this is not just it. There's going to be more to this interview as well. I suppose, what do they gain by giving out this kind of information? I suppose is the question.
I mean, I suppose that's the wrong question. You should be asking, or you should be saying that, why has it taken me so long? Think about the fact that for years we've only had one side of the story. One side of the story. Harry and Meghan have said nothing. They've not been able to defend themselves. They've not been able to provide or say anything in response to a lot of the misinformation put out there. So why are people questioning and then targeting them for actually speaking out? What is wrong with that? You expect them to sit in a situation that they felt was abusive, they felt was suffocating them, especially when they were not being protected. And let's just be clear here. Rather than see this as revenge or some kind of attack on the Windsor family, I find that utterly ridiculous. Are we supposed to sit here and say that the royal family is above reproach, that they've done nothing wrong? I mean, how would you feel if that was happening to your next neighbor's family or to your family? Would you not do something about it? As I said, I have no doubt that people will watch this interview, and many white people will not see the root cause as racism, because, as usual, racism is so normalized that people expect that the way it's going to look is different from what it actually is. And the other thing is, they want to deny that the royal family as an institution is rooted in colonialism. It's rooted in racism, in white supremacy. That is what colonialism and slavery was. So let's just be clear.
Dr. Shola,
when Harry and Meghan talked about this, what they said is not a surprise. What we should be doing is asking, okay, so what's going to happen now? So rather than castigate them or cast aspersions on their character, which makes no sense. I mean, to Anna's point about why is it that Meghan did not have any other members of her family? What's that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with a slice of bread? It has only
says an awful lot about her character. This is not necessarily just about colour. This is about character. And anyone like me who is white, privileged and well-educated is not able to say anything without it being viewed as racist. This is not, I don't think, all about racism. I think a lot of this is about character. But we are, as a white minority nowadays, we are silenced from speaking our truth, because then it's immediately labelled as racist.
You are not being silenced by anybody, because after all, the majority of voices for the longest time has been the white majority voice. The fact that more ethnic minorities are speaking out does not mean you're being silenced. Should we be silenced? Should we be experiencing racism every day in all of its connotations because you feel fragile? That makes no sense to me, Anna. So please, let's make some sense here. The point is, the royal family as an institution is rooted in racism, in colonialism, in slavery. We understand that. Now, this doesn't mean
can I just interrupt? I just want to
the royal family as racist. I am saying that something happened to Harry and Meghan. Somebody made comments about the color of Archie's skin. That is not a normal family question. No, it's not.
Dr. Shola, I've just got to jump in there, because I don't want to run out of time. And I would like to go back to Anna at some point during the interview. But just to pick up on the point that you mentioned, and I suppose to reiterate one of the points from earlier as well. You say that it's very clear, and you're making points and comments this morning that we haven't heard the royal family's point of view. Isn't it dangerous to make those assumptions and to give those opinions without hearing a response to what has been said in the interview?
I would like them to respond directly to what was said in the interview. But then if we all apply deductive reasoning to everything that's happened in the last 3-4 years, to the silence and complicity of the royal family in all of the racist, negative, sexist coverage and misogynist coverage of Meghan, then I think you kind of have your answer, because silence is complicity.
And just thank you very much. I just want to ask you as well, Anna, just looking, if we can, to the future, because there was a lot, isn't there, about family here and about personal relationships and about the future and the future of the monarchy. So how significant and how much difference will what they have said make?
Well, I think the most difficult thing is going to be how Meghan and Harry are going to find a way back to repair relations with their family. Can I just say, I disagree with Dr. Shola. She's saying that silence is complicit. I think often there's great dignity in silence, and that's what the royal family so far have done, and I hope that they don't dignify this interview and a lot of what's been said about it with any comments. I think that this is becoming a PR war. Please, could you let me speak now?
I'm going to interrupt you both there because thank you very much indeed for talking to us, and I think we can see Dr. Shola again, and we can all agree that we will probably many people disagree about this. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Appreciate it both.
Thank you.
It's 24 minutes past 8. Lots to unpick from